Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do a full day of eating. It's Sunday, so it's a rest day, so my carbs are a little bit lower just because I don't have the demands of a big session. I am technically in off season at the moment, so the food is pretty high, but I do also have like a little comp lined up in 5 weeks time. It's just like a max log deadlift comp. It was just to give some like structure to the first half of my off season, just because going from August through till the beginning of next year is quite a long time. So it just gives me a little bit of structure, a little bit of a mental focus. And also, I haven't had the opportunity to sort of see where my deadlift is. I kind of know where my log is, but with the comps that I've done, so England's, Brits, Europe's, it's all been 160, 170 for reps. So I don't really know where things are, and I think it will just be a nice, fun little thing to do. So yeah, food is at a good level, but I am conscious that I do need to make weight in 5 weeks. So it's not as high as it has been, and I'm slowly trying to work to bring my weight down just by a little bit of increased expenditure. And then I might look to bring my food down in the next couple of weeks. I'm also mindful that the first comp of the year, like in 2026, is England's, and it's 3 weeks after Christmas, which is fine. But I want to have that kind of wiggle room because I know that usually I take just Christmas Day off, and I tend to have that sort of initial gain of like a kilo, and for me it takes a while to come off just from like different foods and stuff like that. But you know, if my body weight was sitting higher and then that kilo goes on, it just makes that first half of January not very pleasant. So the idea is just to sit my body weight a little bit lower consistently, so that the cut for that is easy. And then going into 2026, I want to have really easy weight cuts. So yeah, I'm going to take you through my food on a rest day. I'm about to do a client check-in, then I'm going to do a few steps on the walking pad, and I need to go do food shop, food prep, and all that sort of stuff today as well. So I'll show you what I prep for next week and also the meals that I have today. So first calories of the day is my Starbucks. This is a staple for me every day. It's just become like part of my routine, and it's not the best thing on my bank balance, but yeah, I do have one every day. Today I've got a pumpkin spice latte, fully into the autumn swing of things now. When it gets closer to competitions and stuff like that, making weight, I will cut this down to usually like a medium one, and I go for sugar-free syrup just so I'm not wasting any calories that I could be having through food. But because my food is high at the moment, I can't afford to have a few extra calories in this. So yeah, we just pulled up at Sainsbury's. Ben's gone in while I film this, and going to do the food shop, ready to do both our food preps later. And then I'm going to go home and have my first proper meal, breakfast, which is oats. So see you then. So about to make meal one. I'm going to start off with the gluten-free oats, and we've got 50 grams of these today. Then just using an unsweetened soy milk. Try not to spill it everywhere. And then I've got 200 mils of that. Then just going to pop that in the microwave to cook. That's the oats cooked, and then I'm just going to add in like half a scoop of vegan protein. So this is the Optimum Nutrition one in vanilla. So I don't want too much, so I'm just going to add in 15 grams. And then I'm also going to add in a little bit of cinnamon, just for a bit more flavour. And then mix that all together. And try not to make a mess. Then I'm going to top that with some fresh blueberries. Sometimes I have frozen, but I'm going to use fresh today. And got 60 grams, slightly over, of blueberries. And then got some cashew butter, which I'm just gonna try and, just over 10 grams. About to have my lunch and I'm just plating it up from the Tupperware. It does get to the point sometimes where I get a little bit sick of eating out of Tupperware, so I do try to put it on a plate sometimes. I've got lemon and herb, chicken, potatoes and green beans, and I've got a little bit of olive oil on my meal as well, just to give the green beans like a little bit of flavour, but also just for healthy fats. This is such a staple meal for me at the moment. It's sometimes I sort of vary it up in terms of like the chicken seasonings, but pretty much always have chicken, potato and some sort of green veg. I just find it digests really well and I enjoy it as well. So about to have my lunch meal, which is lemon and herb chicken, green beans with some olive oil and some baby potatoes. Such a standard meal for me. Sometimes I might switch between potato and sweet potato. Sometimes it's broccoli instead of green beans, but yeah, this is pretty much the standard. I actually got it out the Tupperware today. Sometimes I get a little bit bored of constantly eating out of Tupperware. Sometimes it's nicer to eat off a plate, so I've just dished that up. I'm gonna have that. I've pretty much finished my steps for the day. I've been sort of intermittently doing work and then getting on the walking pad for breaks. So I probably need to do one more round on the walking pad. Sort of aim is 11k steps at the moment. And then I need to finish off my work. And then I've got a couple of nutrition client check-ins. And then that'll be me done for the day. So food prep done. I've got my lemon and herb chicken, green beans, potato for my lunches, then dinner, Thai green chicken, stir fry veg and sticky rice. And then I've just made up a couple of creamies to go in the freezer as I was low on those. Gone for chocolate flavour, so it's literally just a lactose-free protein shake. And I've added like a little bit of a sugar-free dessert mix in there as well, just as a thickener, because it really helps the texture. So that is sorted. I was doing sort of 1 to 2 days at a time of food prep, but so that is food prep done. Got my chicken, potato, green beans, chicken, stir fry veg and rice, and I've also made up a couple of creamies there too. So I was doing like 1 to 2 days of food prep at a time, just because it's nicer to have fresher food. But where I've been a little bit more busy recently, for convenience, I've just done sort of 3 to 4 days. I experimented with 4 days in the last round of food prep and tasted fine by the end, so going with 4 days again. So these are the meals I'm having, and then I will make my oats fresh in the morning, stick them in a Tupperware and take them to the cat hotel with me. And then on my training day, so tomorrow's the training day, I have a bagel with jam as well, which I don't have on my rest days. To the creamy as well in the evening, I add a little bit of gluten-free cereal in there as well and like mix that all together. And that's a really nice treat at the end of the day. And then I sort of just alter that depending on whether it's rest day or training day. So on the rest day, I have a little bit less cereal. Training day, I have a little bit more. So it's nothing complicated. These are the meals that work really well for me. And I don't imagine anything is going to majorly change over the next 5 weeks before I need to make weight. I might sort of take out a little bit of potato, a little bit of oats here and there. But I'm mainly just going to be sort of driving my steps up a little bit more to drop sort of a kilo or so, and then manipulate whatever's left off, because the long-term goal is just to slowly bring down my body weight for next year. So I'm sitting lower in general. I don't want to do any major calorie cuts now, despite the sort of 5 weeks. I'm just sort of thinking about the long term. So if it gets to a point and I'm, sort of sitting at 65.5 or something like that in that last week before the comp, then I will just manipulate that off. That's not a problem. But yeah, sort of long-term game is what I'm thinking about right now. So now food prep is done, I'm just going to finish off my steps. I'm going to do sort of like 15-20 minutes of like fast walking. I'm going to have some electrolytes during that. So obviously I don't need these for walking, but it just makes drinking water a little bit more enjoyable and will encourage me to drink more while I'm doing it, because it's the one thing I really struggle with is like having, it sounds really strange, but like having thirst. I really don't get that thirsty, so I have to try and encourage myself to drink as much as I can. So this is the Train by JP pineapple and strawberry hydration. Usually I would use something like this during training rather than doing something like this, but I do tend to have things like this on my rest day as well. It's not going to harm, so yeah, just kind of tastes like squash. So going to get that done and then finish off my work, and then it will be probably dinner time at that point. Just plated up my dinner and I've got my stir fry meal. So this one is katsu chicken, sticky rice, and like a tender stem veg stir fry, so like green beans, pak choi, all of that sort of stuff. And I've just topped it with a drizzle of this kimchi ketchup, which is really nice. It just gives it a little bit of a sort of spicy boost to it, and it's next to no calories as well, so it's an easy way of adding flavour without, you know, damaging my sort of macros for the day. So I'm going to have this, finish off last little bit of work, and then pretty much head to bed. I've got my final meal, which is my Ninja Creamy, so it's literally just pretty much a whole bottle of chocolate protein shake, and then I'm going to add my cereal in. I've got 45 grams of Cocoa Pops. I just lost a few. And then I'm just going to mix that all together.